You're watching the nation's best college newscast. 11 News at Noon starts now.
McNeil mistress. Martin McNeil's old flame takes the stand during his murder trial.
Hispanic growth, how a more diverse Utah County is impacting local businesses.
And cops and zombies, why the living dead are working with local police to save brains instead of eating them.
I'm Mark Chalice.
And I'm Randall Vaudry. Welcome to 11 News at Noon. Dr. Martin McNeil's former mistress, Gypsy Willis, testified in court as part of a deal with the prosecution.
That's right, and when she got on the stand, she described her relationship with the defendant in detail. Gypsy Willis says she and Martin McNeil met online and started a relationship. She took the stand and told the court that at first their liaisons were relatively casual.
Did the relationship become sexual?
It did.
And when was that?
I think that was in January of 2006.
And how often were the two of you having sexual relations?
We would see each other about a couple times a month. There were months when we didn't see each other. It was a very casual thing. It was just whenever we had time and it could be arranged.
Okay.
And it was...
Go ahead.
I think we probably had sex half the time. I mean, sometimes it was just lunch.
The McNeil daughters say their father set up a pretext where the family hired Willis to be a nanny. Willis used a false name and continued her extramarital relationship with Martin McNeil. They eventually told people they were married. Prosecutors are accusing McNeil of murder, saying he killed his wife so he could be with Willis. She will testify in court again tomorrow.
Police are looking for a man who is accused of attacking a woman at a West Valley Burger King. Authorities say this man physically and sexually assaulted the victim after she went inside to use the bathroom. Workers say they heard her screams and called 911. As you can see here, the man has dark hair, he's about 6 feet tall, and may have scratches on his face from the victim fighting back. If you have any information, call the West Valley City Police. Drunkenness and drowsiness led to a train wreck that killed a woman in Salt Lake City. Authorities say the woman and a man she was with were drunk when they decided to lay down on the railroad. An oncoming freight train hit the pair and pushed them 5 blocks before stopping. Authorities say the woman died at the scene, but the man escaped with only a broken leg.
New census reports show that the Hispanic population is on the rise in changing the business demographic in Utah. 11 News reporter Shalise Kofed talked with several business owners in the county. What's the effect that this is having on their businesses?
Well, Mark, Latino markets are expanding and businesses providing Hispanic services are cropping up all over. Utah Valley companies are finding it more important to cater to Spanish-speaking customers to grow their companies.
The Morales brothers moved here from Michoacan, Mexico, and spent more than 10 years building their own family restaurant.
We tried a few restaurants, and it's like burritos, all different that I in Mexico. So I told him, you know what? I don't see real Mexican food here. Why we don't bring some here?
And they did, making popular Mexican food known for its authentic flavor. But in recent years, new Hispanic businesses bring more competition for the Morales restaurant. New census information shows that Latinos are the second largest ethnic group in Utah and growing rapidly. While the white population grew by 1.2%, the Latino population grew by 2.5% in 2012.
It's just more and more that if you can cater to the Hispanic population, if you can provide bilingual services, then you're going to be at an advantage.
Growing Hispanic businesses and Latino markets are changing demographics throughout the state. Rancho Markets in Provo was recently able to expand because of the increasing number of Hispanics visiting their store. The Morales family noticed the higher numbers of Spanish speakers in their area, especially in the past year, and it's given them hope for expansion.
You know, with the bad economy they passed, it was kind of slow, but now it starts to pick up again. You know, it looks like we're doing good, you know. Americans doing good.
The Morales brothers are hoping to continue to pull from the new demographic numbers and open more locations in the near future. Many Utah Valley businesses are making changes like advertising that they speak Spanish or selling Hispanic products in hopes of drawing from the Spanish-speaking community.
All right, thanks, Shalise.
A new rule says Utah State Prison inmates can no longer get crayon drawings in the mail. Authorities say some inmates' families and friends mix drugs with the crayon wax, and that gives the prisoners a quick fix when they lick the colors. Prison employees say finding drugs in the mail isn't a new thing, and it happened in a couple of days. Police are trying to identify a victim killed in a hit-and-run accident in Salt Lake City. The accident took place yesterday at 150 South and 900 West, where witnesses say a vehicle struck the man, killing him at the scene. Police say the victim is between 50 and 55 years old and has no identification on him. Officials are asking anyone in the area with information on his identity to contact police.
Search and rescue teams saved an injured hiker Sunday after spending Saturday night on Mount Timpanogos. The woman hurt her knee while hiking with her boyfriend, and when the couple realized she couldn't walk, they called for a search and rescue crew who arrived on foot. Rescuers stayed with the couple overnight until a helicopter could reach them. And another hiking pitfall over the weekend. Authorities say search and rescue crews found a lone hiker in Bell Canyon on Sunday who fell and injured himself. The man was near a waterfall when he fell. Crews found him more than an hour away from the trailhead and deployed a helicopter to take him to the hospital. Authorities have not yet released his condition.
Definitely a busy weekend for search and rescue authorities.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Still to come on your 11 News at noon. Escaped convicts. A real-life prison break means 4 inmates are on the run. We'll tell you how they got out.
And noble zombies. Why you don't need to fear this group of the undead. Stay with us.
The apocalypse is coming. At least that's what it looked like in Salt Lake City this weekend. The undead lined the streets on Saturday, but as 11 News reporter Aubrey Jones shows us, these zombies are trying to save lives rather than take them.
It's not every day that you see zombies out and about, but the Walking Dead are taking to the streets and local bars this Halloween to ask people to plan ahead and designate a sober driver. Zombies Against Drunk Driving is teaming with Utah Highway Patrol to show people the dangers of drinking and driving.
Find a designated driver, call a cab, whatever it is that you need to do to keep yourself to keep yourself out from driving and being drunk.
The zombies spread awareness through YouTube videos with police last year, but they decided to add to the campaign this year by making public appearances and scaring people into being safe.
Just getting this message out to the public in an interesting and engaging way.
The zombie scare tactics are teaching children and adults that driving drunk really is deadly.
Utah Highway Patrol says that drunk driving is one of the nation's deadliest crimes, and they won't give up trying to prevent it.
And we have seen numbers decrease when it comes to DUIs, but until we see them at zero, we're going to still send out the message.
Law enforcement says that no holiday should ever end with the scary consequences of drunk driving. They remind Utahns to drive sober or get pulled over. In Salt Lake City, Aubrey Jones, 11 News.
The zombies will be making several appearances leading up to Halloween, so keep an eye out for their chilling message. You can also find links to their YouTube videos on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
A disturbing find in a New York apartment. A ride operator for a North Carolina state fair is in court, and 4 inmates escaped from an Oklahoma County jail. Here's your look at news from around the nation. A New York City neighborhood is in shock after police found 4 children and their mother stabbed to death in their home. Police responded to the crime late Saturday night. They later arrested the father's cousin, who was living with a family at the time. Police say the suspect has made several statements implicating himself in the crime. An operator of a North Carolina state fair is in jail facing felony charges after a ride he operated injured 5 people. The ride started up when people tried to exit it, something investigators say shouldn't have happened. Officials found that someone had tampered with the safety features on the Vortex ride. Police say 4 inmates are on the run in Oklahoma after they broke out of the county jail. Officials say these 4 men escaped from jail by breaking the lock on the maintenance hatch and climbed through the ventilation space above. Police got a call early Sunday morning when someone saw 4 men in orange jumpsuits walking around town. The men are local, and police suspect they're still in the area. And that's your look at news from across the nation. Randall?
Thanks, Mark. Well, Kathleen, walking into the studio today, my hair was like all over the place. I had to redo it to try and make it look decent. It was so windy out there.
It absolutely was, but you know what? It's even windier in other parts of the state. I'll let you know more with 11 weather when we return.
So when I walked outside this morning, I thought for sure that the wind was going to blow away some of these leaves here. However, it wasn't blowing quite fast enough, and those little leaves just held on a little bit longer, and they will probably hang on a little bit longer as the day goes on. Right now in Provo, it is about 64 degrees, with the wind blowing about 25 miles an hour, which is faster than it's been blowing in the past few days. But it's blowing faster in even other parts of Utah. And then later tonight, the wind will continue. It'll slow down a little bit. It'll blow down to about 12 miles an hour. However, tonight, going down to about 37 degrees with rain and snow likely. Yes, I did just say snow. However, it's not going to, there'll be a little or no snow accumulation happening, but there will be some slight showers later tonight a little bit after the sun goes down around 7:29 p.m. And then throughout the state, pretty much everywhere in Utah except for Price and Moab and even Vernal, there's no rain going on as we go on here. But starting up in Logan, 59 degrees, and then 57 in Wendover, and then in places like Moab and Nephi, the wind is blowing about anywhere from 55 to 60 miles an hour. So I do not recommend going out and wearing a dress later on in the day. And then the wind is even blowing around 60 or in between 50 and 60 miles in Cedar City and same with a little bit in St. George, but it's not as windy in St. George. However, in southern Utah, we do have some rain happening here on Monday and Tuesday, but the temperature will drop pretty dramatically to about 59 degrees. And then starting on Wednesday, the rain will clear up, and then the temperature will just keep going up throughout the rest of the week on to Halloween, so you don't have to worry about taking an umbrella when you go out trick-or-treating. Northern Utah, maybe a little bit of a different story here. Rain and snow possibly starting tonight on Monday and then going on through Wednesday. And then it'll cool down to about 49 degrees on Wednesday. But in between then, watch out for a little bit for some rain. Maybe not so much thunderstorms and maybe even a little bit of snow. However, that snow will not accumulate. It'll just be a little bit in the banks. And then in the weekend, luckily, it'll clear up in time for Halloween this weekend, and it'll even warm up a little bit. So there you go. Won't have to worry about wearing a snowsuit or an umbrella on Halloween.
There's two things I love about this forecast. It's the snow in the mountains. I'm excited for ski season, and then it's going to clear up for Halloween. Just perfect. Can't imagine anything better.
Totally.
Thanks, Kathleen. All right, Dave, I had some Boise State fans in town this weekend, and it was great to kind of rub it in. I had a pretty good time on Friday.
Yeah, Friday night was a fun night for Cougar fans everywhere. It was also a special night for BYU wide receiver. Cody Hoffman is setting records left and right. I'll show you what list he's on top of now. And the fat lady was not singing in Detroit. I'll show you what went down in the Motor City when we come back. BYU came into Friday night's game 0-3 all-time against Boise State. The last time the Broncos were in Provo, they left with a 50-12 victory. But this year's BYU squad wasn't motivated by that. Instead, they had memories of a one-point loss in Boise last season, looking for revenge. Rise and shout, the Cougars are out. Both teams coming in with a 5-2 record. First quarter in a scoreless game, Taysom Hill, he's fast. No quarterback in America has more rushing touchdowns than Taysom Sean Hill. He can run, yes, but we've seen this a lot lately too. A perfectly delivered touchdown strike to Ross Oppo, 17-3 BYU on top. The third touchdown for Oppo in the last two games. Cody Hoffman needed one receiving touchdown to become the all-time BYU leader in that category. Hill, Hoffman, record. The 31st career touchdown for the BYU wide receiver. Cody Hoffman, my man, how does it feel?
It feels amazing. I'm almost speechless about it just because it was set by such a great player before me, and it's not an easy record, and I take a lot of pride in it.
Also something to be proud of, BYU's defense. The Cougars had 2 sacks and forced 4 turnovers, helping BYU blow out Boise State. How do you do it, Bronco?
Created enough turnovers, moved the ball well enough, distributed the ball well enough, kicked the ball well enough to beat a team that hasn't lost in October since 2001.
Timpanogos High School women's soccer took on Skyline Friday night for the state title, and it wasn't the first time. The two schools have closed the past 3 seasons with the matchup, but for Timpanogos, more was on the line than just ultimate bragging rights. 11 Sports reporter Kylie Patton shows us why this game meant so much for the Timberwolves.
The game to end it all. In preparation for the Timpanogos vs. Skyline rubber match, the Timberwolves say they knew that to break the tie, they would have to play to their one strength that no one can tackle.
I think we support each other on and off the field, and when you know each other that well on the field, you're able to connect and just be together as one emotionally and mentally.
The team put this support into action as they united in dedicating this season to 7-year-old cancer fighter Owen Hartle, younger brother of player Devry Hartle. Players say they felt a greater conviction to leave it all on the field and to win the season for Owen.
We were very confident, but I knew we had to come out big.
For many of the seniors on the team, this is where their road ends. But what better way to kick it to the net than with the win here at Rio Tinto?
Timpanogos senior Sydney Oldroyd took the field saying emotions were mixed, but determination was high. The players came out with grit, taking control of the game in the 46th minute when the Timberwolves sent the crowd into an uproar, scoring the only goal of the game.
It was insane. Everyone was yelling. We were having a good time. And our girls are the sickest girls on earth, so obviously we had to go nuts for them.
The players say this win means more than just a tally in the record books. It's a win for Owen. In Sandy, I'm Kylie Patton, 11 Sports.
After having claimed the 4A state soccer title for 2 of the past 3 years, the Timberwolves say they plan to come back, ready to do it again next season. It's World Series time. After getting blown out in Game 1, the Cardinals won back-to-back games and took a 2-1 advantage into Sunday night, looking for a 3rd straight win. Tied at 1 in the 5th, Matt Holliday for St. Louis. Strike 3 called. He got him looking. To the 6th we go. But first, David Ortiz in the Boston dugout, providing his teammates with some inspiration and motivation. It would work. Moments later, Dustin Pedroia with the 2-out base hit. Then it's David Ortiz drawing a walk. 2-out rally time leads to a pitching change. Johnny Gomes batting with 2 on and 2 out. Be the Beard.
Drive into left. Back at the track at the wall. It's gone.
The power is in the Beard. Seriously, look at all that facial hair. The Red Sox would take a 4-1 lead. The lead would hold up. The World Series is knotted at 2 games apiece with Game 5 tonight. To Detroit. But first, here's the situation. Lions down by 6, 40 seconds on the clock, no timeouts left. Matthew Stafford on a 2nd down play, deep down the sideline, and boom! The Lions are threatening. Clock is now stopped with 33 seconds left. Lions need to get into the end zone. Next play, Matthew Stafford to his main man, Megatron, to the end zone. No, he's stopped just short. The clock is still running with no timeouts left on the clock. Stafford, you got to snap the ball and stop the clock. You got to spike the ball and snap the... He's telling his teammates that. Stop the clock. How about a QB sneak instead? It's a game-winning touchdown for Matthew Stafford. Ziggy's team escapes with the victory. And finally, guys, after BYU beat Boise State, the president of the Craft Fight Hunger Bowl was on hand and offered an official invite to BYU. Tom Holmoe accepted, and so in honor of that, mac and cheese for everybody.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I needed.
The game will be December 27th in San Francisco against a Pac-12 opponent.
I was wondering what I was going to have for dinner tonight. Now I know.
Well, hopefully they'll play against the Utes again. It would be nice to have some comeback.
Yeah. Yep, and here's some free advertising for mac and cheese. Still to come on 11 News at noon, the Great Pumpkin. Even Charlie Brown would be proud of this bad boy. Wait until you see how long it took to carve. We'll be right back.
Well, sorry, Linus. It looks like someone else has found the Great Pumpkin, and a great pumpkin it is. This whopper weighs in at a frightful 2,030 pounds. That's more than 20 pounds better than last year's record. It took a team 3 days to carve it into a gigantic Venus flytrap. Still don't believe it? The pumpkin is on display in the Haunted Pumpkin Garden at the New York Botanical Garden, and it'll be there through Halloween.
So why a Venus flytrap? What's with that?
I don't know. It's an interesting design.
I don't know. A pumpkin that big would just scare me.
Yeah, I want to carve a big, huge BYU logo into that pumpkin.
Yeah,
nice.
That'd be pretty good.
Put it right on top of the press box the Levada would say.
Yeah, exactly. That would be good.
Absolutely.
Well, that's 11 News at noon for Monday, October 28th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching, and have a great afternoon. So have any of you watched Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown yet?
Well, I haven't watched it this year.
A long time ago.
I still need to watch Hocus Pocus this year. I watch that movie every single year.